Welcome to the Milestone Fitness Podcast. Today, episode 7, we are going to talk about why you need to warm up your body before you race. So just like our bike, we don't want to go off with a cold engine. That can create problems. Our body is the same way. We're creating issues by not properly warming up. So this is a quick hit podcast where we keep things short and to the point, focusing on the things that you can do off the bike to race faster and safer. At Milestone Fitness, we work with racers remotely in the real world. Many have a life full of commitments and don't have a lot of time to train off the bike or ride on the bike. So we take that time off the bike and make the best use of it through training, through aerobic training, strength training. So while they're on the bike, those days that we get on the bike, able to ensure they're racing faster and safer. Like I said today, we are talking about the warm-up and the importance of it. So first, before we go into the science of it and a little bit of an overview of a warm-up routine, let's just compare our bike, our motorcycle to our body. So our motorcycle, whether you've got a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke, we know taking off with a cold motor is going to, one, definitely limit performance for a bit, and two, can create some real problems. So if you've got a 4-stroke, we know we want to let it warm up a bit. We've got a 2-stroke, especially these TPI and throttle body injection bikes. We know there's a whole procedure to warming them up. You can't just take off and go. And our body is the same way. We need to get things warmed up, get blood to the right places, have muscles warmed up, have everything feeling right and ready, have the body temperature increase so we can get the most out of our body when the gate drops or the flag drops for racing. Just like our dirt bike, we've got, metals that need to expand and things that need to get in the right places. We need oil to get in the right places. We need to make sure things are lubricated, things are warmed up, and everything's ready to go. Our body is the same way. We can think of it just like that. So my suggestion always, before you warm up your bike, warm up your body. And that's going to help you get the most out of it. You're going to decrease the chance of having arm pump when you take off. You're not going to have as rough of a time kind of getting into the groove of things because we've already properly warmed up our body. So we can kind of avoid some of that initial hurt or burn. I mean, it's racing, it's still hard, but we can kind of curve that a little bit with a proper warm up. So what does a warm up do specifically? A warm up is going to mentally and physically prepare us for the demands of racing. Warming up, we gradually increase our heart rate and our blood flow. And this enables more oxygen to reach our muscles. So we'll talk about a couple ways you can warm up before a race, depending on what tools you have available with you. But essentially, our goals are to gradually increase body temperature. So get body temperature up close to what it's going to be racing. And then through that, we're going to take blood vessels, including capillaries, open them up, and we're going to increase blood supply to the muscles. So get the blood to where it's going to be when we're racing. And then warming up our muscles is going to help them contract easier. And they're going to, muscles, ligaments, tendons, everything's going to be just a little bit more fluid and ready to go. Just like your bike, cold metal versus warm metal, muscles, cold versus warm. We want them warm. Loosen up our joints, like I kind of mentioned there. And then the big one, engage our brain with our body, kind of start to make that connection before we even hop on the bike. Get the brain in sync with the muscles we are going to use through warming them up. So then, like I said, multiple ways we can warm up at a race. First, my suggestion, if you have a bicycle with you, first heading out a couple minutes on a bicycle to gradually increase your heart rate. So this is something I always do. I always have a mountain bike with me. I race off-road. And so I usually got a bike with me for like hare scrambles to just kind of cruise around and look at a couple sections of the track and get an idea what's going on, and maybe even cruise to sign up or talk to people. So just to limit time on my feet. So I've got a bike with me. So first I head out and I gradually increase my heart rate. I just start off really easy for 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the day for me personally, and just start to slowly work my heart rate up. Just kind of add a little bit more pressure to the pedals, getting a little bit harder gears, and start to feel myself warm up and start to, kind of feel myself get warmer. That's my first step. And then the next is taking my body through a range of movements that are going to help me get ready to race. So if you don't have a bike, or I know some people even have like a rower with them, or they like to run, so all those are options to warm up. Cycling, rowing, running are the first step. But if you don't have any of those with you, that's okay. We've got our body, and that's what's really going to do the next step. So we can skip the first part, go right to the dynamic movements of warming up our body. And what we're going to do here is just start to gradually increase our range of motion through movements and start to engage all of the muscles. So these are things like walking lunges, under the fence, over the fence movement, where you're kind of going like a sideways squat. Well, just like you're going, like you're stepping over a fence, and then like you're kind of squatting under a fence side to side. Like I said, walking lunges, doing some push-ups, some planks from elbows to straight arms. So with all of these, we're engaging the core. We're warming up the lower body, so we're ready to squeeze the bike, move with the bike, and then warming up the upper body. The big thing, especially with doing a couple of those push-ups and plank movements, those plank up downs, those will really help kind of limit the chances of arm pump. We all know some racers, maybe you deal with arm pump no matter what you do. I mean, I was just listening to a story of, I think it was Ivan Tedesco. Talking about he struggled with arm pump his whole career, even had arm pump surgery and didn't make a difference. So, some racers, arm pump is just part of the game. Yet doing these movements will help get blood to those areas, get blood to your forearms, to your biceps, to your triceps, to your shoulders, and just kind of help get everything in the right spot. So the body isn't all of a sudden freaking out when we're holding on to the handlebars and trying to get things to the right place when heart rate is, to the max. So warming up beforehand will definitely help make that connection with your body. So going through those movements, you don't need to bike or run or row before. That definitely helps, I feel. That helps gradually increase the heart rate, but you can skip right to these movements and work through these. They may feel silly and maybe feel a little off doing it, but definitely it is something that is there to help you get better. And I feel like sometimes racers will have the perception that I'm wearing myself out by doing these movements beforehand. I'm essentially robbing myself from my performance. But I would challenge you to look at that through a different lens. When we race, we want to get the most out of ourselves. We want to be able to perform, and doing the warm-up will help get us ready to perform. So always keep that in mind. It's there to help you get better, not to wear you out. Make the beginning of the race better, help you get into a groove quicker, and help you perform your best. So with that, if you are looking for a warm-up routine or want a warm-up routine, send me a message on Instagram and I'll send you a warm-up routine that will walk you right through the steps to do. So that way you can incorporate that into your race day and get ready for the race and feel more prepared and more in sync with your body and have made that body-mind connection before you take off. So that's it for today on the warm-up. Next week, we're going to talk deeper about arm pump and the things that I found as a off the bike coach that you can do to decrease your chances of arm pump. So see you guys next week.